Burnout is the result of chronic stress. This show is about helping career individuals to actually feel empowered and to have tools that they can use in their daily lives, because I truly adore, respect, and want to help those that have dreams and that want to build and create in their lives. And I want to show them that they can do this without breaking their bodies or relationships in the process.
Hey there, welcome back to the Well-Balanced Mind. My name's Shannon Rollins and I am your host today and every day that you come on here. And I'm really excited for the topic. And you probably are thinking to yourself, if you've seen a couple episodes, Shannon, you're excited about every topic. Well, it's because it's all really exciting. It's about understanding your mind, insights to your emotions, your beliefs about yourself. And believe me when I tell you, the more that you understand who you are as a person, the better changes you'll be able to make in your life and have a better life overall for you. Who wouldn't want that? To feel better each and every day, knowing who you are, what you offer to the world, and feeling more valuable in this world. And that's actually what today's topic is on. It's the value that you bring to the world. We're going to be talking about self-confidence today. And this is actually my favorite topic of all time to talk about, to speak on. Not only my personal experiences, but every single client I see as a hypnotherapist. Confidence has to be interweaved into every single thing that we do. Because oftentimes the decisions we're making is because we aren't as confident. We don't know the value we bring. We don't know what our gifts are. And so today we're really going to be diving into what that looks like for you and 5 tangible steps that you could take to start lifting yourself up, being kinder to yourself in a more confident way. And the more confident you act, the better off you're going to be in terms of opportunities. Listen, you could be freaking out inside, and as long as you're acting confident going outwardly, people don't notice. They're not going to know that difference. And I'm sure that you've heard the statement, fake it till you make it. I don't like that, because you already have it inside of you. You already have the value, you already have the gifts inside of you. So it's fake it till you believe it, till you believe the value that you bring to the world. Now let's talk about what is self-confidence in general. It's just that value. How do you rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? And the amount of value that I bring to every single situation, the amount of value I bring to every single thing, is my input worthy at work? Do my kids respect me? This all boils down to confidence and what you believe you are capable of. And really, it boils down to this. Why can't we be as confident as Chihuahuas? I have a funny story. I have a Chihuahua, and he is about 12 pounds. So yes, we are on a weight loss regimen right now. So about 5 years ago, it's pouring rain outside. I open the front door, and it is storming. It is coming down. And he bolts out of the door, and he's not a runner. He bolts out of the door into the next yard, to the neighbor's yard, and there's a giant armadillo. It was huge. It's probably the size of this desk, a giant armadillo. Okay, he's probably maybe like a quarter of the armadillo size, and I see them wrestling in the pouring down rain. I can't make this up. They were rolling around, and he's just wrestling with him. And I'm thinking to myself, this dog is going to kill himself. He's not going to be able to survive this. I have to go break them up. And I had to give him probably 5 or 6 baths afterwards because he had that very nature-filled smell on him. And then I got to asking myself this question on, why can't we all be that confident? What is going on to where you can't be walking out like the Chihuahua with an armadillo? And there have been many other circumstances like that. I'm sure you can imagine a yappy Chihuahua barking at a Doberman. Yeah, that's the type of stuff that goes on. But what happens to humans? Why do we get scared in these types of situations? In a David and Goliath type situation. Now, Chihuahuas and dogs in general, if we're doing a comparison, they probably have the brain capacity of maybe a 3-year-old child, 2 or 3 years old. And guess when our self-confidence, self-esteem is fully developing? Around that age, 3 to 5 years old or so. So when we're going through a life, we have such a larger brain capacity within our subconscious mind that things start to happen to us. And as a child, especially when you're younger than 10 years old, an event could happen to you and you make a decision about yourself based on the event that happened to you, which could either strengthen or lessen your self-esteem, right? I'll give you an example. Second grade, right? Everything bad happens in second grade, it seems, when I talk to clients and friends and other people. So this was considered traumatic for a second grader, right? Every single person in my class learned their times tables except me. I didn't. I missed the 12 times 12. I didn't know that. It's 144, by the way. I didn't need to learn that in second grade. And so everyone got a glittery pencil whenever they finished the entire round of times tables. I was the only one. What decision did I make about myself? I'm not smart. What did I do? What pattern did I create there on out to every other area of my life? I'm not smart. So I'm going to have massive anxiety when I sit down for a test. And guess what anxiety creates? Brain fog, which created, again, me not passing exams, not passing tests, me doing terrible on SATs, on ACTs, on everything test and pressure related because of that decision I made about myself in the second grade. And we all do this. We all make these decisions, these crazy, irrational decisions about who we are just because we think there's something wrong with us. And there's not. It's just the situation. As children, we're great at observing things and we're, let's face it, not so good at interpreting them, right? And there's two different types of self-esteem. There's situational and there's characterological. So situational self-esteem is when you feel low self-esteem just based on a certain situation. But when it's more your character, it's interweaved into the core of who you are, and it actually affects every single area of your life. And you might have a bit of both, or you might just have low self-esteem because you don't have the experience yet in that area. So if you don't have the experience yet in the area, then it's natural for an unknown situation to make you feel anxious, to create these feelings of self-doubt because, quite frankly, you don't know how it's going to go. If you get promoted to a new position and then you're asked by your boss a week later to present at a huge board meeting, for example, yeah, you're going to be nervous because you don't know how it's going to go. But knowing who you are and the gifts that you bring, that's going to help move you forward into these periods of uncertainty, into these periods of discomfort. And I'm sure you've heard this before, but the main way to break down these walls is to seek discomfort, is to look for the areas, is to say yes to that opportunity and figure it out later. There are so many resources out there that can help you. So many coaches, so many people who can help you remove blocks, so many other different things that you can do each and every day. And we'll go over some of these tips at the end of this episode to focus on, because you've got this. You really do. And sometimes just stepping outside of yourself and looking at who you are, I mean, give yourself a pat on the back. You've been through some crap. Let's be honest. Come on. I know that each and every one of you have been through some struggles, and that helps build the resiliency and can help build the confidence. But what we don't want those struggles to do is to knock down your confidence. And what I've been seeing, especially in this time of a pandemic, right? In this time of job loss, in this time of struggle is people are feeling their self-esteem affected more than ever before. Because we're used to having certain things, and then when it's taken away from us, we feel like it's because of us. Like it's our fault and we did something wrong. And I'm here to tell you it's not your fault. It's not your fault, but you see in our subconscious mind, we have something called the inner critic. And the inner critic is an ego state, and it's usually created by an authority figure, like I said, when we're younger than 10 years old. And the authority figure is sometimes our parents. Now, we love our parents, right? But everyone's doing the best they can with the resources they have in front of them. And if you hear something, even the most smallest, minute thing, you could think it's your fault. Parents divorcing, you could consider it your fault. And you might not even know it because it's stuck in your subconscious mind. These memories, they chase us around. And so really what it's about is learning to dig deeper and remove some of these blocks that you might be carrying. Remove some of these blocks. And the inner critic is that one voice in your mind that is just beating you up, potentially. And we also have that inner child. That's where our self-esteem is developed from. And so you can imagine, right, if you have an inner critic, and then you have your inner child, and your inner critic is just beating up the inner child, saying, you're not good enough, you can't do this, you're not good enough. And here's the thing, it's running on autopilot. It's streaming again over and over and over in your mind. And so breaking that pattern and breaking the cycle can make such a huge difference in what you're creating for yourself. And with that, there's different levels, right? There's different levels to grow your self-esteem. And you might be thinking, Shannon, this is getting kind of depressing. Let's move this along. Tell me what I need to do. If you know that you have a loud inner critic, I'm going to give you some clues, right? If you're a perfectionist, then you probably have a pretty loud inner critic. And take this from personal experience. As a recovering perfectionist, your inner critic will make sure that you're on track and it has your best interest at heart, right? But at the same time, it could potentially be beating you up in your head so much, and this is just your self-talk. This is just another word for your self-talk. Beating you up so much because you want to do a good job. You want to bring as much value because you care. It just means that you care. But then guess what? If it's beating you up so much, it's creating anxiety, stress, depression potentially. It's causing you to do other behaviors that could be coping mechanisms because you're feeling those things. So then the symptoms from that could be that you're overeating, or maybe you're drinking more to feel better, right? Why do we drink sometimes? Let me ask you, why would you go to a bar or a networking event and have a drink? And I've actually gone around and asked a lot of people this because I'm curious and human behavior and want the response, right? And many people say, it's because it makes me feel more relaxed. I don't have as much social anxiety talking to people. And so when we do things like that, when we drink or when we overeat or when we grab that cigarette, they're just coping mechanisms. And it really is breaking that pattern that can really help empower you to say, I don't need those coping mechanisms because I know who I am. Even if you are completely 1,000% unique in your way of thinking, right? If you are 100%, you feel that you're just different. I always tell people different is a good thing. Being different is really powerful. And so knowing that you don't have to blend in with the crowd. So with these different bubbles, I call them bubbles, right? We have our comfort zone, and just imagine a little circle right there, and it's a comfy zone. I call it the comfy zone, right? It's where we're used to doing things. We're used to the friends we have. We're used to going to work and doing certain things. But then if you stretch yourself a little more into your uncomfortable zone, That's when you start feeling that angst. And then from there, we have our panic zone. And I got to be honest with you, this year and last year, our panic zone has been just, everyone's been in the panic zone. And it's because it's something that's unknown for us. We don't know what to expect, and we panic. We panic, and we buy a bunch of toilet paper, right? In any type of catastrophe, we panic. And so it's learning to do it on purpose. I'm not telling you to go into the panic zone on purpose. What I'm telling you to do is go into the uncomfortable zone on purpose. Because if you think about it in rings, almost like they're 3 rings and circles, the more that you're stepping outside of the comfortable zone and into the uncomfy zone, the more it's going to grow and grow and grow until you have this giant, huge sphere where maybe there's not that much that makes you feel uncomfortable anymore. And this journey is an uncomfortable journey, but guess what it also gives you is variety. You're not going to be bored. You're not getting the same thing over and over and over again. And when you're 90 years old, you look back on your life and think to yourself, man, I sure did try. I sure did make a huge difference. And so that's what I want to challenge you to do today, is to step outside. Step outside of that really comfy place that you're in and just step 1 foot in front, just maybe 1 toe. Put 1 toe in the uncomfy zone. And then when that 1 toe is starting to get a little comfortable, just put your 2nd toe in. And then when that's feeling pretty good, put your whole foot in. And then you move on to the next foot, right? So you do these things a little and little at a time, and it's gonna make a huge difference. So here are some tips that you can take away to help you really grow your self-esteem more beyond removing blocks and getting to the core of the problem, but really something actionable that you can take away today to help you know the value that you bring to the world. And the first one is to find your gifts. It's really important to know what your gifts are. And here's a clue. If you don't know what they are, ask someone close to you what your gifts are. Because they can actually have more insight. If our inner critic is so loud, it could have a lot more insight on what we bring. And I've actually done an activity when I speak where people write each other's gifts anonymously, what they think all the other people have. And then you come back to your table and you look at what every single person wrote down, and people are shocked by what they see. Oh, I never knew this as a gift. Like, you get along with people, or you're magnetizing, your energy is really light, or you can resolve problems really quickly. People don't look at these as gifts. They think that you have to be super special and be a famous singer and do this, that, or the other. It's something that small that makes the world a better place. Find your gifts. The second one is to uncover why you aren't confident in that particular area. Uncover those blocks. Go to someone who can help you figure out, why am I having an issue with my self-esteem? What happened when I was younger that told me I wasn't good enough? Because there's something there. There's something that's holding you back, and there's something that's blocking you. And then the third one is to keep the promises that you made to yourself. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Not for the sake of other people, because here's what happens. When you say you're going to do something and you fall through and you don't do it, then you just told yourself, again, I can't do it. And each time you do that, it knocks your self-esteem down again in a particular area. So keep the promises you make to yourself. And then the fourth one is self-talk. Make note cards, put Post-it notes around your house, just reminding you who you are. So once you have those gifts, put them on a Post-it note, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it in your car. Listen, if you came to my house, you would say, oh my gosh, this lady, because I'll go through stints. Well, I'll have them on the door frame when I'm walking through a door where it'll say a particular thing. I don't have it as much anymore because I know I don't need that anymore. But when I was going through this process of building myself up, I put it everywhere. Everywhere. I would listen to affirmations. So what affirmations speak to you? It could be something as simple as you're supported and guided. It doesn't have to be something extreme. And just put them anywhere you can see it to remind yourself who you are. And the fifth one is your daily reflection on successes. Before you go to bed at night, take a look at your day and say, man, this was a rough one, but I got a lot done. Or, man, I actually had that hard conversation with my boss. I'm proud of myself. And it doesn't even mean the outcome didn't have to turn out good. It's just about the success in you taking action on maybe something that you found uncomfortable, that you didn't want to do. And so those are my 5 tips to really step into who you are. And listen, this is a beginning process. This is a lengthy process, right? And so knowing that this is just a journey, this is something that can lead you into a lifetime of feeling good, because that's our goal, is for you to feel good. So take those with you today and know the value that you bring to the world and to everyone around you, and start building yourself up. It's going to make such a big difference. And thanks so much for joining me today. I'm always so happy and honored to have you here. And if you want to find out more about me, just head over to shannonrollins.com. Everything's on there, my backgrounds, experiences, or just to learn a little bit more about me. And stay tuned for next week. And thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next time.